What I have here is a RCR123A. What this is a rechargeable version of a conventional CR123 that most of you are probably familiar with if you're into tactical flashlights at all. Let me get a standard Panasonic Lithium 123A 3-volt. So, what this particular battery is it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, which has a nominal voltage of around 3.2 volts. It says 3 volts there, but an open circuit voltage is typically about 3.2 to 3.3. And what these are a drop-in rechargeable replacement for a conventional CR123. So if you're running tactical flashlights or anything like that, so like, where'd it go? My coffee cup. Something like this, like a TLR1 uses 2 CR123s. But for training use, it's not entirely a bad thing to be able to use these rechargeables, because you can get a lot more use out of your light without having to have a bunch of batteries on hand. And depending on where you are, getting new CR123s can sometimes be hard. If you're unfortunately stuck with Walmart being your only source for these, you're probably paying several dollars each per battery. Whereas these things have a 10-year shelf life, so if you don't use them, they're usually still good after a while. Whereas these things, you can use them for all your training and recharge them every day, every couple days, you know, whenever they start to get low. The downside with these batteries is that they don't have the same capacity as a conventional CR123. And one of the other problems is that if you deep discharge them, meaning like let's say you've got them in your light gets turned on and left on, the light doesn't have any protection circuitry, so it will literally drain these batteries down to nothing. And unfortunately, when you do that, it really compromises the battery. Now, in most cases, under a deep discharge condition, like it'll draw these things down to a few millivolts. And when that happens, you take your battery and you go to put it in your charger, and it says, wait, why isn't it recharging? It's just sitting there green. Well, it's because the battery voltage is too low for it to recharge. This does not have enough smart sense to detect whether the battery can be reconditioned or not. So it doesn't even try. So what I'm going to show you guys today is a quick trick, and granted I'm using a very nice power supply and I have my very nice flukemeter here to re-energize these batteries. So the trick with it is, there's a couple things you have to check before you do this. One, you want to check what the voltage is. So here I've got these probes hooked up. That's from my power supply. But I'm just going to take and check what the voltage is. So this one is measuring 0.743 volts. So that's well below the 2-volt threshold that this will recharge. So I need to take and see if I can put enough voltage back in. One other thing you want to check while you're at it is you probably want to check if the battery doesn't give you any voltage, you want to check, you know, the resistance of it. Here it's saying 15 mega ohms. That's acceptable. This battery can be reconditioned. Occasionally, if you have batteries that are just dead, it'll measure essentially infinite resistance, so or no connection. Under those circumstances, unfortunately, the battery's trashed. You may as well just throw it away and go buy another one. So, this trick is one that I've seen other people use with 18650s, so like these big ones, on YouTube. This isn't the safest thing in the world, so I don't necessarily recommend it. If you do choose to do this, you do so obviously at your own risk. I would recommend probably wearing safety glasses, which I am wearing, but you're not going to see it because I'm behind the camera, and setting it up in a configuration similar to this. You don't need to have a fancy power supply, but you do need to have a variable power supply. So in this case, what I've done, whoop, that scared me, is I've hooked the probes up to the multimeter. The reason I've done this is so that I can get very fine granular control of what the voltage is. This does have a voltage output, but it's pretty coarse. So when I turn that on, right now I can see here that I'm at 3.488 volts. That's 0.2 volts above what a open circuit voltage on these batteries is. Actually, first let me show you that. So if I take this and I say voltage, so 3.31 volts. So this is a sort of freshly recharged battery. So at 3.488 volts, I should be safe to put some more juice back in this thing. If I want to, I can turn it down or turn it up. Realistically, when you're starting to put juice back in these things, it's going to pull quite a few amps, and you're going to see that on here. I've seen it draw, I think, up to half an amp, depending on which scale you're looking at. So 0.5 amps. And what I want to do, you'll see that when I apply voltage to this battery, it's going to start, the voltage is going to drop, and then it's slowly going to come up. You probably want to hold it on here until you're over about 2.5 volts, at which point immediately put it on the charger and get it recharging. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So let's see, we got this is on, that's how many volts we got, and so I've got everything set up here. Let me, I'm actually going to make some adjustment here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Make sure you can still see everything. So I need to put negative with negative, obviously, and positive with positive. Go ahead and watch here. Okay, 2.5. Okay, so this one's taking voltage pretty quick. 2.7. This one's taking about 0.3 amps. Okay, it's starting to level off about 8.3. Or 2.83, sorry. And there you go. It is now charging back up. So I'm going to turn off the power supply, and I'm going to let that charge. And hopefully, before the day is out, I should have a reconditioned RCR123A that I can use for my flashlights. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll try to update this. If you guys have any questions about this kind of thing, feel free to ask in the comments.